incredibly inspirational and informative talk that it got me jumping up and down excited, and I hope you too. We're almost out of time, but I think we do have time for a few questions. So please, if you have questions, okay, here's a question here.
So I've got a question for transportation and design. One question each. I'm Andy Reddick from Climate Ventures at 192 Strand. And I have a web page, choicedrive100.com. Here's transportation. My question on transportation is the following. I was speaking yesterday to a climate activist from the prairies, and he was talking to me about Toronto solutions. And he said to me, you know, a lot of farmers, they live very far apart from the prairies. And he said he didn't think they would get away from combustion engines for at least 20 years. He said he thought that the provinces out there would subsidize gas. So how would you address that sort of issue? The second one is about design. Wood is a big factor. At the conference in Penn State, I attended last week, reforestation was again a big issue. But for us, boreal forest is a big source of our wood, white pine. Now, the problem is, a lot of us don't really know much about the boreal forest. An investigation by a province for public input only has something like 70 submissions this year on the whole boreal forest in Ontario. So the question is, on one hand, we're looking for wood, and there's really good technology out there that you mentioned, the laminating of the wood, the very strong beams, very high, very high now. But the question is, how are we going to produce the wood if we're killing the forest?
Do you want to answer the transportation half first?
Sure. So let me make sure hello, test. Yes, so my understanding of the question was how would we help farmers or people in rural areas to electrify? Yes? Okay, so I think the approach to both urban and rural is similar. There's things that we need to do as individuals, things that we need to do as a community. There's only so much we can do as individuals. Some of us might volunteer to electrify our transportation and change the modes that we're using. But really, the community needs to encourage that and support that. So, you know, we need to, as a community, make things more expensive, you know, by through using fossil fuel, and that can be done through, you know, carbon pricing. And then we also need to support and subsidize folks transitioning, so changing their entire infrastructure to, you know, electricity-based machinery, electricity-based transportation. That's you know, I think too much for, you know, a small-scale farmer, you know, perhaps, or you know, or a bunch of people living in a community to do on their own. And if we expect people to do that in the next 10, 20, 30 years, I think we need to support that as a community. Of course, if you can do that as an individual, that's great, but we need to support that at the systems level, and that needs to happen both in urban environments and rural environments.
On the question of wood, this is absolutely a critical issue. There are a lot of people out there who say, oh, everything that you chop, every time you chop down a tree and plant a new one, the new one's sucking in carbon, but it's not 100% replacement. There's still a carbon footprint to building out of wood. So on that graph, on that first graph I showed, the things that we really have to do are first build less, build simply, use the appropriate type of wood construction, like up to 6 floors. You don't need to use the heavy timber. They're just doing that because they like it. But in fact, you can do stick framing up to 6. You have to be as efficient with wood as you would be with any other. It's about good design and good engineering to use as little of it as possible and make sure it's all sustainably harvested and replanted.
All right.
question about wood too, and I feel that Canada has its own Amazon event in that in Vancouver Island. They're cutting down the old growth forests. There's supposed to be 520,000, I think, hectares or acres that is supposed to be reserved. No one in government or the people who are trying to cut the trees down know where those areas are. So, in fact, nothing's getting protected. There's an article in the Star at the beginning of September that talked about this big lonely Doug, who's the only tree left in an area that was clear cut on Vancouver Island. And I have a question for Heather about where on the slide that you showed of the farm. Where is that farm? I'm from Rome, and I have a friend whose house and property was expropriated for that airport.
Yeah, in 72. So we haven't created this. We're just sitting on the issue of whether or not the government and hopefully whether the government will make a decision, firm decision to say, that's it, we don't need an airport out here. I mean, the whole history of how that particular piece of land came into being is absurd. And I can't go into it now, but it was slated not to be used, and then they ran out of their options, and they came around, and it took one person. There's a text called, excuse me, I can't think of the name, but it's not much of a help, but it's up to the government now. It's not up to the municipal government, that's for sure. It's up to the federal government. They're the ones that own the land. And were you born in Rome?
No, I spent from 7 to 12.
Okay.
My father read a book by Louis Bromfield on how to farm, and he bought a 60-acre farm. And I think the country lane actually still exists in that slide that you've seen. The farm, the buildings, everything is gone. It's just arid, bare, the trees, everything is gone.
Yes, there's been an awful lot of demolition that has gone on over the last 45, 50 years, unfortunately. So, have I answered your question enough?
No, actually, I wondered where you had those roots. The airport plane.
We'll talk later, okay? All right, thank you.
So thank you. We're actually out of time, but we do have open space coming up that you'll be free. Okay. So thank you so much. I think I'm feeling inspired. For those who have questions, burning questions, we will have open space coming up very soon, so you'll have lots of opportunity to interact and get your questions answered. And I think this is just the beginning. So I'm hopeful that this dialogue will continue. Thank you so much.
All right. Wow. I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty full. Lots of information, lots of knowledge, and lots of heart. Really, Owen skipped words. Where is that guy?
Love and numbers.
Love and numbers.
Action.
And action. You know, just the combination is rich and full of potential. So, why don't I get you guys up, because you've been sitting for a long time. I'm going to put the mic down.
Stand up.
Stand up.
Please stand up.
All right. So just to kind of shift the energy, just do a nice stretch. Let's everyone, let's just stretch it out into those bodies, right? Like Owen says, you know, the body of the soul, the soil, and the body of the bodies, right? So we have a little rant that we want to teach you. It's really, really simple. And it consists of 4 words. So you got to remember 4 words, okay? You got to remember
This
yes.
is the essence of the drawdown message.
Yes.
In 4 words.
You got to remember yes, 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 and yay. You got it? Okay, so what's the first word?
Yes.
We can reverse global warming.
Yes.
We have the solutions.
Yes.
We're already doing them.
Yes.
Let's celebrate and do more.
Yay!
All right,
All right.
all right.
So,
Yeah, this takes us into the breakout sessions, which Peter Jones is going to lead us in. So have a seat, and in a minute you'll be moving again. So please have a seat. Thank you very much, panelists. Peter.